What do you got there on your arm, Josh?
Oh, I've been selling my body.
Lucky.
Hey, Josh.
Oh my gosh.
Did you make a bumper this week?
Oh
You got
my
the
gosh,
intro?
it's so loud.
Oh, I can turn
No,
myself
don't
down.
turn anything down because we recorded it and we tested, and that sound is perfect. It's just very loud in my ears.
Okay, well then you turn it down.
Yep, I got it.
Yep.
It's under control. All right. Yes.
Play your bumper, Josh. Did you make a bumper?
I did not make a bumper.
Why not? We talked about this last week.
You know that this is a show.
All right. So
that is
knowing that I knew you
poorly.
weren't going to do that, I went out and hired a professional to make us one, and you should have it in your week T folder in there. So you just go ahead and you run that.
So there's a button that I should.
I think
I should be able.
There's a video.
There's a button that I should push though.
There's a video.
If I push a button, you're saying there's a video?
Well, there's a video.
I'm gonna push a button.
All right, push the button.
Week T Gaming. Did you see this podcast?
That was delightful. Welcome.
Yeah.
Welcome.
$472. Well spent.
Wow. Yeah, you find that on Fiverr?
No, it was a private website for James the Lion Boy.
All right. Well, welcome to Did You See This episode 3. Michael, it's great to have you here as always. Thank you so much for showing up. I'm glad I didn't have to fine you this week.
I'm just here so I don't get fined.
Yeah, Sam, we got a guest, Samuel Murphy. Thank you, sir, for joining us this afternoon.
Very excited.
I know you had to leave work early, make time in your busy schedule to be on our show. Sam, just so you're aware, this is a show. I'm sure you've seen it before. It's all over the internet. But the key is that we have certified, unqualified opinions, and the fines don't matter. So just keep that in mind.
That sounds great.
Yeah. So anyway, I guess we're just gonna.
What's this show, as you call it? What do we do here, Josh?
We just share. We
For
share
those that haven't seen it before.
For those few individuals that may not have seen this before.
Yeah.
This is a show where we talk about things that we probably don't have any right to talk about most of the time, and we have little to no working knowledge as to the ins and outs of such issues. And we enjoy ourselves while doing it.
Do you need some filler, Josh?
Yeah, somebody tell a funny joke.
No funny jokes here. This is the Week T podcast.
That'll work. That'll do, pig. That'll do. All right. So if you all turn to page 1 here, first thing on my... I don't know if you saw this, Michael and Sam, but Nate Diaz believes that he's going to fight for a title even if he loses tomorrow night at UFC 263.
Why does he think that?
He just thinks that he's that good. Nate Diaz thinks a title shot is coming his way, regardless of the result against Leon Edwards at UFC 263. So he is getting. They're doing five round bouts. There's 2 titles on the line. Israel Adesanya is going to fight somebody he's already beat up once. It's going to be boring. Davison Figueroa and Brandon Moreno should actually be a good fight, and that's for the one. Yeah. That's the 25-pound. That's 125-pound, I believe, belt. And then Leon Edwards and Nate Diaz are going to fight 5 rounds as well at 170 pounds. Here's the thing. Edwards is a top contender.
Yeah.
He's on a 9-fight unbeaten streak.
Ooh.
So Edwards almost certainly deserves a title shot.
Yeah.
However, Nate Diaz believes not just if he beats him, but regardless, he's going to get a title shot. So I just think Kamaru Usman would eat Nate Diaz alive. And yeah, I just thought that was interesting. I didn't know if you guys had seen that. He just said that earlier this week.
No, I didn't see that. I don't follow Nate Diaz very closely.
I don't either. I wasn't even really interested in this card, but as I was looking through it today, the card is actually really good too.
So you weren't interested in it, but now,
well, because
maybe a little bit.
All the marketing had been for the Adesanya fight, and I was like,
which I don't. I mean, I feel like he's got it.
Yeah, it feels pretty guaranteed. But obviously Devison Figueroa and Brandon Moreno are both interesting.
Moreno's always fun to watch.
Didn't was it today or yesterday? Vittori came out and said everything about Adesanya's fake. He's fake. His persona's fake. His fighting style's fake, and he's gonna crush him. I think that's what he said.
Ooh, a little spice.
So, in terms of the marketing, that's real original. Just label everything fake,
right?
And that you're better.
Yeah. But like Damian Maia versus Bilal Muhammad is actually an interesting fight. Bilal's interesting as a fighter. There's somebody else in here. Drew Dober. I actually kind of enjoy watching Drew Dober fights. Hakeem Dawodu is fun to watch.
You are rocking these names, by the way.
I read them earlier this afternoon. I did a little Joe Rogan practice. So
he's just jealous of our audience.
Yeah, I mean, for real. So anyway, it's an interesting card, but I thought that was a funny Nate Diaz take that he thinks he's gonna get a title shot. Like, not to even like comment on like value or whether or not he deserves a title shot, but just like the confidence of a man who hasn't won a major fight in a while to just be like, yeah, win or lose, I get a title shot next. And it's like, have you seen...
Well, he's only fought like 3 times in like 5 years or something like that.
And have you seen Kamaru Usman?
Yeah.
He's huge.
He's particularly good at the fighting.
Yeah. And
didn't Diaz this week double down on the whole I'm never retiring thing?
Probably. That sounds like something he would say.
Yeah, I feel like the beginning, I think it was this week, he said, yeah, he was never going to retire, and he hadn't been in many fights because of the politics and people are avoiding fights with him or something.
Yeah. That checks out. That sounds like a thing. Yeah, so anyway, excited to see, I guess, the outcome. I don't think I'm going to be watching the card, but
you're not buying that one?
Well, I might be out of town, honestly, so. All right, what do you got for me, Sam? I think I saw this article, but please.
This first one?
Yeah, set this up for it.
Okay. All right, so on this edition of Sam Was Right about retired NFL players should stay retired.
Or the curse of the Chiefs line.
I don't know if you guys saw
it's like a double curse.
There was a football game last year. They called it the Super Bowl.
Yes, I'm aware.
Yeah,
watched
wasn't that this year?
Interest.
Wasn't that this year?
Well, there was one last year as well.
Yeah, but anyways, the offensive line for the Chiefs was garbage, terrible.
It was not
awful.
Great. It was not great.
And so over the off season, the Chiefs were like, "Hey, we should do something about that."
They threw money at it. The problem.
And they did. They picked up a lot of guys, some of them really good, and one of them stood out to me as not so good. But people told me it was good. Kyle Long.
I think I have a text from you. Hold on, let me see.
I think you were on board with it actually, and I was not on board with it.
Is that?
I was. Let's see here.
So Kyle Long.
Is that readable on the stream or is that terrible on the?
It's readable.
Okay.
He So he 2013 was his first season. And his first 3 seasons, he only missed 3 games.
Okay.
And he was a Pro Bowler all 3 seasons.
Sure.
The following 4 seasons, he played a total of 30 games.
That's not an amazing amount of games.
No. And his last 2 seasons, he played a total of 12 games. He's injured a lot.
Yeah. Yeah, he seems pretty injury prone.
My response to it was, that's a long shot, that'll work out.
Which sounds positive in the if you read just the back half of it, but it's obviously some sarcasm.
Yeah, because his last name's Long.
There's long. Yeah, I caught all the little pieces of it. Sure. Get it?
It's a long shot.
Well, yeah, and so shocker, he's injured again. Yesterday, it's sounding like he fractured his kneecap.
You don't
And he
need
won't-
those.
How do you fracture a kneecap?
Man, I don't
Come here,
know.
I'll
They're
show
not
you.
even-
Uh-oh.
But
Open
it
Twitter.
sounded like he's not going to need surgery, which is great. So he'll
Yeah.
be back for the beginning of the season. The only problem with that is the whole getting back in football shape required a summer's worth of working out that he's not going to be able to do now.
Yeah.
You could do the arm exercises like on the arm bike, and you can get those shots that make your heart rate go real high.
I suppose.
Those are bad for you. You should not do that.
They could probably just spray some stem cells in there, right? And you can just grow a new kneecap.
I just rub some dirt on it, and everything would be fine.
Right. Yeah, this if so people in other sports don't really retire and come back, but for whatever reason NFL players always try and retire and come back. They're never the same.
Are you referencing like one Tim Tebow who is now a tight end for the Jacksonville Jaguars?
Yeah,
Who is the running back that wants to play defensive back?
I'm
Guy
not
from the Bears, right?
That sounds right. He's not on a team, but he had tweeted out that he was like, I could be a linebacker.
To be fair, there was this one guy named
Or defensive end.
Michael.
That's what it was. He said he wanted to be defensive end.
His name was Michael, and he was pretty good at a sport, and he retired, then played a different sport, and then came back.
Retired.
Didn't he play?
Okay.
And then
Didn't he play
and this
two
other guy
sports?
named Conor McGregor retired like every other week for like a year and a half.
I think in today's terms, Michael was shadow banned, I believe, is what you would call that.
Oh man. Yeah, I don't. Yeah.
Like Marshawn Lynch, he came back, but Beast Mode did not come back.
No, he had a couple runs that were like impressive.
That's a fair point. Yeah, Beast Mode did not return.
Rob Gronkowski plays for the Bucks. He won a Super Bowl, but he's not Gronk. He people still think he's elite. He had 600 yards last year.
But he showed up when it counted. He showed up when it counted, Sam.
Well, it might have taken Gronkowski the first half of the season to even remember how to play football.
Is that from all the alcohol that he drank while he was retired?
That's what
Most likely.
all the stories about him coming into like summer training camp and just being like, "Oh, we run here." Like, what is physical activity? Like, yeah, that's great. That's great. Yeah. All right. Well, don't retire. I think the answer then is the Alex Smith, just never retire.
Right.
Get injured and just keep playing.
Then you win awards.
Didn't Andrew?
I mean, he worked really hard.
Didn't Andrew Luck like tease like he might play for the Colts? He's not going to, obviously, but
I don't think it was him. I think it was the team was trying to talk to him.
Or it wasn't even that. It was like a friend of his wife's doctor, or so. It was like texting a reporter and saying like, "I've heard from a reliable source, and Andrew Luck is coming back." It was like, that person knows nothing. Don't listen to them. All right, interesting. Michael, this link is spamming me with ads. So
you're welcome.
So let
Get
us.
a better ad block.
What's going on?
All right, so here's the problem. Money sucks. We need a better form of money. And what form is that? That's called cryptocurrency. And I give to you Bitcoin, right? The problem with Bitcoin is we're killing the world to have Bitcoin.
Just to clarify, not a show about financial advice.
No, not a show. Whatever you want.
But new money, crypto, let's go.
Anyway, the problem with that is it's very, very bad for the world to just have GPUs mining crypto all the time, 24 hours a day. It's, I don't know, different estimates are like it's the whole country of Argentina every day is electricity to mine crypto. That's kind of bad for the environment. So the idea is
from a traditional perspective of the environment, perhaps
in Salvador,
but maybe
they want to mine with power from a volcano.
That sounds fun.
And my thought is, why are we limiting this to just crypto?
Okay.
Why aren't we setting up generators with every volcano? Like just deep plunge down into the magma, which is apparently like 1/5 the heat of the sun.
So it's similar to like thermic like energy, right? At that point?
No, this is just like real heat. Geothermal is pulling like heat out when it's like barely warm, like 55 degrees, like the ground.
Okay.
This is like really hot. This is like nuclear type type heat
Sure.
that we're generating the power from. So why are we limiting this to just crypto? And also, good idea. We'll use things that are killing the earth to not kill the earth, right?
Yeah.
And it is backed by the government. It's backed by the El Salvador government. They're setting up all kinds of things to do this. And why did we take this long to say, hey, we have this really hot stuff that's like in the middle of the world. I wonder what we could do with that. And then start making power out of it.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Well, is there a level of like we've never had the science before that could allow us to handle lava in a way that wouldn't murder us?
It does seem precarious.
Well, for the last 30 years, we've been playing with magnets to control heat the as hot as the sun. We can't do it when it's doing fusion, but I would assume we could do it with heat that's already there.
Sure, but like nobody even knows how magnets work. Right?
Oh, that's fair.
Is
Magnets are
witchcraft.
It's
Harry Potter world stuff.
It may as well be magic.
Also, volcanoes are kind of magic.
Volcanoes are magic, but would you care to expand on that idea?
Did you ever watch Joe versus the Volcano, by the way? Classic Tom Hanks film?
Negative.
Okay, we're going to have to pull that one up. I'm not going to say any more now.
Okay.
It's ridiculous. There's no reason for it.
I have not watched Dante's Peak or Volcano either.
Different movies.
Both considered classic volcano movies.
This is not a classic. Did you ever watch the Garfield special where he drives a car into a volcano to save the natives? No. I'm pretty sure it's racist now that I think about it, but it's a real cartoon.
You could have asked if I'd ever watched a Garfield special, and the answer would have been the same. Negative.
I mean, I'm just showing my age.
I've read some Garfield comic strips, but was not aware of an animated Garfield show.
Did you ever watch the cartoon where Snoopy wins a dance contest?
I think so.
Yeah, that's a good one. I think it was I don't know. I was just gonna keep going off on different cartoons.
Did you ever watch? Hey, did you ever see?
That's podcast 2. Did you ever watch?
Dude, we could do a movie podcast / TV show podcast and just call it "Did You Ever Watch?"
I mean, we could just throw that on this though. We don't need.
Did you watch this? No. We need
splitting up 3 viewers to 2 podcasts is dangerous.
Podcasting is about franchising, Michael. Franchising.
Sorry.
We already have that. It's the Josh's walking through the woods on Shoreline movie reviews.
Yeah. Oh, dude, you're right. You're right. We need to get back to that.
Except for somebody doesn't play Tarkov anymore.
Listen, I'll get back to it. I got bored. And I didn't like dying all the time.
Well, I mean,
it's not a good game if you don't like dying.
I die exactly 74% of the time, and I have a blast.
That's a lot.
Actually, it's 64. I got better.
I think for a while my ratio was, or my percentage of survival was above 50.
Yeah, and then the real world came and Tarkov'd you.
Yeah, it does that. All right, boys. I don't know if you saw this or not, but Jeff Bezos is going to space.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he owns a whole space company.
Right. But like Jeff Bezos and his brother are going to space.
Yeah, and isn't he supposed to like drive the plane or whatever by himself for a little bit? Like,
well, I think it's considered.
No pilot with him?
I think it's considered a rocket, but
no. He's not driving the rocket. It's once they're already out in space. What do you call it once it's already in space?
Is it like a shuttle?
Shuttle.
Maybe the shuttle? I don't know. That's fair.
The craft?
Yeah.
I don't have a... So, here's what I thought was interesting. One, I didn't realize he was resigning from CEO of Amazon.
Yeah, he did that a couple months ago.
Nope, hasn't done it yet. July 5th.
Well, he announced it.
Sure. July 5th is the official date. And he's taking his younger brother, Mark. But here's, let me see if I can find it again. There's a note in here. Yeah, okay. So, Blue Origin's flight crewed flight will see the company's 6-seater capsule and 59-foot rocket tear towards the edge of space on an 11-minute flight that'll reach more than 60 miles above Earth. That's all well and good until you start to think there's 6 seats in this bad boy, and 2 of them are being taken up by worthless humans. And by worthless, I mean, like, they're not trained astronauts.
In terms of worth, we might have to adjust your understanding.
One of them is the most valuable human in the world, according to net worth. But, like, everything I've ever seen about space travel, I just lost my monitor in here. Uh-oh. Well, that's not great. Oh, boy. Everything's falling apart.
It's...
Yeah.
Oh, the Xbox turned on?
Yeah, the Xbox is being a real...
So,
peach.
does anyone else out there at home have the problem where you're just sitting around, nothing's going on, and the Xbox is like, it's time for action, and it just randomly turns on? Do you have that, Sam?
Yeah. You just hear in the other room the Xbox just Bruce Buffers. It's time.
Yeah.
For whatever it's gonna do. It does something by itself, but no one knows.
I don't know why. I for a while I thought it was like maybe a neighbor accidentally connected and was turning it on, but no, it just turns out that little button's dirty. And if there's enough dirt in there and the wind blows the right direction, maybe it's because we have a fan over there. Maybe that's why it doesn't. Well, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, I mean,
There we go. Now we're back in action.
we did it.
Josh is less convinced that we're back in action.
Well, I see the reflection in his movie posters, so
Yeah, it looks like it's working. There's no time to die. What were we going to talk about? Oh yeah, Blue Origin. So isn't somebody bidding to like ride with him too? Or like, can't you just be like, I want to put out some money that I'm going to ride this rocket?
Hello, sir. I am also rich. Take me with you.
Yeah. How much?
So there's a British individual, British billionaire named Branson, I believe, who has Virgin Galactic or something like that.
Yeah.
It's his company, and the whole idea is to make space planes for people to fly on.
Yeah, but it's not to actually like.
It's not to go somewhere. It's like an adventure thing. Yeah.
But no, I'm pretty sure. Hold on.
Go for it. Holding.
Yeah, bids open soon to join Jeff Bezos on Blue Origin flight to space. So let's start a pool right here, right now. We'll be the first ones to ever do this. No one's ever done it. What is the minimum rate to get on that flight?
Which one?
This one with Jeff Bezos.
On the 20th of July?
Yeah. This is
They can't
This is from
afford...
Fortune.
There's already 2 spaces being taken up of a 6th space. You can't add more people who aren't astronauts. That's crazy.
Well,
have you never watched Apollo 13? It's a very technical job.
I mean, robots do most of that now. No, Jeff, I can't do that for you.
Yeah.
I feel like the 2 passengers could probably
Bezos.
afford a more expensive ticket if they need to charge more for more passengers.
Yeah,
Well, it's a weight thing too, though, right? Like there's a reason it's built to carry 6 people.
What is the rate? What do you think it takes?
It's like $1 billion.
You think? Bidding will start online prices at 4.8 million. That's where the bidding starts.
All right, I'm a little high.
Well, I mean, I don't know that you are.
I would guess at least a couple $100 million.
I'm going to go with 132 million. 132, that's my guess.
It's a
Market.
Pretty good guess. Yeah, we'll put a little notation in the bottom of the screen. That'll be there every episode from here on out. Just look for it.
At least till the 20th of July.
Nope.
I think Elon Musk is gonna bid 420 million, and he's gonna be the one.
And then he's
No,
just,
I
he's
think
just
he
not
would just
gonna
go
show
jump
up.
in his rocket and beat him.
Yeah.
Like he'd be like, "That's what you guys are doing. I'll just jump in this."
No, I think he's gonna pay 420 million for it to just be an empty seat.
I was gonna say
just
it'll
so.
be like
Just for the memes.
the TikTok thing with with Trump, where all the tickets will be purchased, but there will just no one will show up.
Right.
Yeah. I maintain that we should not take up more seats with people who don't know how to fly rocket ships.
Look, I don't disagree, but that's why we don't have billions of dollars. We don't hedge our safety, our sanity, our money, our projects on making more money.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because let's say someone was a food deliverer. What if you also Ubered people around in those areas? You just double up. That's the kind of Bezos move.
No. Here's the Bezos move. Okay, I have about 12K in retirement, right?
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
I'm gonna get a personal loan for another 12K. I'm gonna take 24K. I'm gonna put it into crypto. And then I'm
just hope you can pay the interest.
I'm just gonna pay the interest.
Okay, got it.
This is not a financial advice show.
That is the most unqualified thing we have said.
I don't know if it's the most unqualified thing. Is it time for an ad read? Is that what's happening now?
Yeah, sure. Let's do the ad read.
Okay.
Go ahead and pull this up.
Pull this bad boy up.
I kind of wanted to buy this one for you so I could just hold it up in the middle. But I'm not. I don't got Jeff Bezos money.
All right.
An expensive prop.
Well, we're all about expensive props here at Did You See This on Week T Gaming? My hair, for instance, very expensive prop.
Mine too.
Oh, I've made a mistake. Hold on.
We don't have a way to show it.
That was a joke because I don't have any hair.
Good joke. You got us.
Thanks.
All right. So, Did You See This is definitely not sponsored by the UFO detector. It's a internal magnometer interfaced with microcontroller for 24 hours, 7 days a week monitoring for magnetic anomalies that have been reported with many UFO sightings.
None of that makes any sense.
No, it's a magnometer, and it's got microcontrollers, and they're interfaced.
No, microcontroller. There's just LEDs on that board and a magnet. That's it.
Listen to me. 33% of Americans believe in UFOs, and 1 in 10 Americans believe they have seen a UFO, according to a 2012 study by the National Geographic Channel. The UFO detector is designed to sense these magnetic and electromagnetic disturbances, continual 24/7 monitoring of its surrounding area. How big is the surrounding area that it monitors, do you think?
Don't you worry about it.
Well, the size of that magnet, it's got to be huge.
Yeah. It includes a 9-volt wall adapter and a sculptured case, approximately 3 inches in diameter.
It's got stars.
And 4 inches
It's got
tall.
stars on the top too.
Oh, this photo is flattering because this does not look like 3x4. I would have guessed much larger. They got the lighting right on that. They really nailed.
The level of finish around that top edge is just exquisite.
Isn't that rough edge just delightful to look at?
Yeah.
It's probably just aluminum foil.
Confirmed UFO sightings have been reported simultaneous magnetic and electromagnetic disturbances, like cars sputtering and magnetic compasses spinning wildly. It's easy to use. Blue LEDs light in a rotating circular pattern in monitoring mode. UFO detector signals anomaly by flashing all LEDs and simultaneously beeping. Ooh, there's a beeper. Reset detector.
The alarm goes off.
There's another layer to this.
You can reset the detector by lifting the UFO detector and turning it upside down for 1 second. I thought you hummed into it. That would be hilarious. That's a much funnier way to reset it. All right. Don't take our word for it, though, on this product. Listen to these somewhat satisfied customers.
No, these people are not happy with it.
Cyphus writes, 1 star is too much for this product. I don't know if this is a scam or if mine was broken, but it doesn't work, and I am still getting abducted by UFOs on a regular basis. 1 out of 5 stars. JL writes, does not work on Vulcans. I received this product as a gift. I wrongly assumed it would cover all Class M planet denizen craft with cloaking devices. It does not work on green-blooded species whatsoever. With that said, I will also tell you Vulcans are terrible house guests. Mr. Spock showed up on my doorstep one evening and told me he came to check the flux capacitor in the refrigerator. The fridge was making some weird noises, so I let him in. Well, he helped himself to all the Sunny D, then demanded some vodka. I asked if he wanted a screwdriver. He insults me by telling me my thought process is illogical. Decided to make himself a sandwich and didn't even offer to make me one. He settled down on the couch, texted his friends on his communicator while binge watching Dexter on Netflix. I took that as a sign to ask him to leave, and then this drunk Romulan friend show up. And then his drunk Romulan friend show up. And one of them barfs up Tranya in a potted plant. I don't know what Tranya is, but sounds like she had a bad day. That whole night, the UFO detector never even went off. Apparently, it works as an alien attractor. I lured them outside by throwing a piece of Swiss cheese on the lawn. When they were all outside in a dog pile fighting over it, I was able to lock them out of the house. Is there a firmware upgrade available that will detect all non-Terra humanoid forms? I read in the police blotter there is a serious alien problem in my town. 1 out of 5 stars. People on the internet are delightful.
I thought Spock would be more polite than that.
It does seem out of character, doesn't it?
Sam, you're gonna get one, aren't you?
All right. Did you see
You
this?
think I don't already have one?
Did you see this is definitely not sponsored by the UFO detector, but we do like it as a product. We're glad it exists. Good for
We're
them.
happy that it's here.
Somebody out there is actualizing themselves in this world. That's great. What do you got here? You got something for me, Sam?
Good old Gearbox,
Gearbox.
the makers of Borderlands.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
There was, like, several months ago, there was a leak of Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, and everyone thought it was a Borderlands 3 DLC, because Borderlands 2 had a Tiny Tina's, I think it was Assault on Dragon's Keep or something, and it was like a medieval D&D DLC. Well, this, announced yesterday, is its own standalone game that is kind of Borderlands-ish, but it also has magic.
Ooh, is this a video we should watch?
It's the trailer for the game. If you want to watch it, you can. It's exciting. I'm excited for it. Tiny Tina's the best.
Is she?
She's my favorite character.
I'm not here to disagree with you. I just...
Well, then yes.
I'm just here to challenge you.
Yeah, I'm not sure you're correct. That's...
Well, that's your opinion.
I thought she was delightful, but I don't know about that. All right, I'm gonna turn this on. Here we go. Prepare. It looks like a dragon eye.
You're observant.
Ooh.
Fate. It soars on the wind. It rises from the grave.
It's definitely got Borderlands coloring.
You cannot hide from fate. But you can make your own.
That is quite the gun. Ooh, Andy Samberg.
That's the
Wanda Sykes.
that's the kicker. It's got some
Will
some
Arnett.
names.
Ashley Birch. Sorry, what?
Yeah, I don't know.
I'm not familiar with this famous actor, Butt Stallion.
You're not familiar with Butt Stallion?
No, I am not. Wonderlands. I get it, because it's like Borderlands.
Are you all about this, Sam?
I'm all about it.
This is a day one release
Absolutely.
playthrough.
2022?
And early.
You've got me waiting until 2022? You get me all psyched
Early.
up. Get me all wild up.
We gotta tell Josiah about this because it's got just enough D&D in it to make him want to play it.
Listen, I remember when I was trying to play through Borderlands 3 with you and Josiah, and then outside of stream, both of you just kept playing on your own, and I was like, "Oh, this is less fun when I'm 10 levels below you guys, and you've already played these parts of the story."
Yeah, that's true.
But
That's fair.
Yeah. Listen, I'd play.
But I was surprised at the names that they pulled.
Yeah. Wow, that's pretty intense. It's hard to get Ashley Birch. She's a
highly sought after.
Well, she is. She's been on Critical Role.
Listen, I love Ashley Birch. I've loved Ashley Birch since she was hanging out with the Rocket Jump guys. That looks pretty fun.
It does.
I'd play it once or twice.
I want to play it for the rest of my life.
That's too much.
I don't really.
No, yeah, that's a lie. I made that up.
Yeah,
that's not true.
I don't believe you for sure.
Well,
you heavy doubt.
Well, I don't know if it has to be heavy. Like just regular amount.
Yeah, it doesn't need to be hard to pick up. Like,
just
carry your doubt with you. It's fine. That's fun. It's fun. Thanks for sharing that.
You are welcome.
I truly appreciate it. All right, Michael, what do you got?
All right, so this is up your alley, but
on video games, on the subject of video games.
Well, even more than that, Assassin's Creed. So
I've played once or twice.
There's a report that next year's game is going to be the biggest and longest storyline yet.
That seems like a mistake.
That's what. See, there you go. This is my point.
Haven't they all been?
There's a lot of people that are saying like, why am I getting so much game? There's so much game to play, and I can't understand why that's a bad thing. I feel like you're paying the same amount and you're getting more content than before. Why is that a bad thing? Is it because you're a completionist, and if you don't finish all the little, find all the shanties, then it's a bad thing?
No, so I would say, from my perspective, it's a matter of like, can you create a gameplay loop that is interesting enough to have that sort of repetitive nature and not just drive people wild because they're just waiting for the next cutscene.
Yeah.
Which I think is the struggle of a lot of games.
If you don't do everything, the longest one they had was 38 hours. Is that what we figured out?
Something like that.
And so I don't know that 38. I don't know that 38 hours was like not too much or whatever. But if you played it all, it was like 240 hours. Like if you did everything, it's like 5 times longer. And so what I can't grasp is people being upset that there's more game. But I do understand. I did not take into account that if it's just repeating the same thing over and over and over, then that would be different. But like in Valhalla, it was all like you had to figure out what each kind of section and boss was different and figuring out their way of doing it so that you could beat them and move on. And then different parts of it were tactical where you had to figure out, like, I just remember you playing one area. Maybe that was actually Odyssey, not Valhalla, where you were jumping up on the roof, going down, killing one guy, jumping back up on the roof.
Yeah, that was Odyssey, yeah. Because I was underpowered because I was trying to rush through it. Yeah.
But anyway, I think it's interesting that they're saying more content for your money is bad, except if it is boring and they don't finish it, then it's worthless content.
So that's kind of, as you know, Michael, I've become a fan of DJ Peach Cobbler.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And one of the things he talked about, he sort of abhors Ubisoft, like every game Ubisoft makes at this point. They're all he views them all as somewhat cookie cutter in that they're all claiming to be this open world sandbox, but it's like very simple game mechanics that are super repetitive.
There's a lot of rails in that sandbox.
Well, it's not just rails. It's like just the repetitive nature of the actual gameplay loop.
Mm-hmm.
That like it's interesting to in a Far Cry game. It's interesting to do the first couple of bases that you're like capturing and flipping, but by the 6th base, you have so much firepower that like they lack the ability to increase the nature of the bosses, which I did feel like Valhalla has probably done the best in terms of these open world sandbox style Ubisoft games of providing like they made the combat scale, but it is way harder when you have a gun. If you have access to a machine gun, combat scaling just becomes I have to shoot him 900 times now.
Yeah.
Where like when you're talking about like basically sword and shield fighting, that can actually feel somewhat interesting once you're adding dodge mechanics and stuff like that. You can scale that better and easier than probably gunplay. But
yeah, because you're I don't know, 3 week playthrough of the original game. You just end in your stream and like super giddy about the whole thing and enjoying it. I think it did drag on a little bit towards the end, but that was my thought. Just that's my experience, not playing myself. That if they did such a good job with Valhalla and stuff, except for the optimization, trust them.
I also just like Assassin's Creed games, so
Yeah.
I have a skewed view of Assassin's Creed because I like it so much.
But I think a lot of people have that same thing. And that's why, they're dropping 9s and 8s and stuff in the reviews. Just people enjoy whatever they're doing. Yeah. Whatever it is.
I do think that's something like Metal Gear struggled with, that people complained about on the more recent Metal Gear games, was they were so long and it was so much effort was spent on the actors and the cutscenes. And so it felt like the gameplay was not integral to the story so much as it was just the way to get to the next part of the and that's where like Cobbler digs into games for that concept a lot, and other people for sure, but he's just been who I've been watching recently, so he's on the mind. All right, guys, I'm almost certain that you didn't see this.
I did not.
But true story, apparently. A woman in Florida, I believe last week, or no, it was actually the end of May when she did this, but she went on a trip to California.
Yep.
Now, her trip was a little different than perhaps most other people's trip to California as a mother would be, in that she left her kids at home.
How old are these kids?
I don't think ages are given, but under 10 is my guess. They're elementary school aged.
Did she like leave dog food out for him or something? Like,
so there's an interesting quote in here from the police.
Did she make it there and then back? Like, was she caught before?
It was multiple days. So what happened is school staff noticed that the kids were missing. And called, and then like the older kid said like, yeah, mom's out of town, and then so the school staffer said, well, that's not okay, and called the cops. So police say that the children were left on their own with little access to food or finance. And Saltanova, the woman,
that's
it's great.
That's
right?
That's a good excuse.
She allegedly said the kids were mean to her and she needed a break.
Hey, you know what?
Ormond Beach, a woman is accused of leaving children home.
I know the feeling. I never would pull the trigger, but I know the moment of like, especially this is May.
Yeah, end of May.
Okay, well, I don't understand as much May. I would say last May I was probably feeling it more like where there was nowhere to go, and nowhere for them to go,
right?
And that was super hard. But to California from Florida,
it's like the same but different.
Yeah, it's like. go outside, walk around the backyard for an hour, and then go back inside and take care of your kids or something. You know what I mean? Like you're saying, like you can't necessarily, you couldn't just get in the car and like be like, I just need an hour away from the kids. I'm gonna go, somewhere. But like,
I'm gonna go to California so I can see the ocean.
Right. It was
get it because there's ocean in Florida.
She lives on a beach.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, sorry.
But it's like I don't know if the trip was planned or if she's just wealthy enough to take a spontaneous trip to California.
It's a vacation of passion.
But also, that means,
well, it's going to cost her more too, because I'm sure she got cited and she may have done
maybe even might even lose her kids. But like,
too,
you'd have to also think that there's no one that she feels close enough to do this in a reasonable way. And that is sad.
That is sad, for sure.
Also, these kids, I mean, they were good enough to like answer the phone. Who has a home phone anymore, by the way?
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah.
But they were. That's interesting.
Yeah, it's sad, and it's like, I don't even know what's Missouri's. Does Missouri have a rule on like how old a kid can be when they can be left alone at home overnight?
So
some states I know sort of have a rule on that, but
it's even more like weird because you have the anomaly children where they're like 35 years old and they need help. And then you have like the 7-year-olds that are like, I'm going to college, mom. And like, so all those rules have kind of broken down, but generally like they're supposed to be 8 before you leave them alone. And then older than that to leave them alone for a night.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, cause you do have like, just in culturally, like you're going to have kids coming home from school on a bus and their parents probably aren't home every day for sure.
Right.
So like there is a level of like, for an hour or two, we kind of expect, around, I don't know, Liam's age, like a kid to be able to sort of handle themselves for an hour. Like if they're really hungry, there's probably something in the fridge or the pantry they know how to get a hold of and eat.
Yeah.
And like they can get water. They're they're not going to burn down the house. They're not crazy enough to just turn something on fire. Liam's on the verge, but Peyton maybe even more. She might light fires just for fun.
Yeah, making candles or something.
Yeah, but and again, for a couple hours. But the idea of just like, I'm comfortable, I'm so upset with my children that I just want away from them, and whatever happens
Josh,
to them,
they
is
were
fine.
mean to her.
Yeah, I'm sure. It sounds like she's got a messed up relationship with her children already, that they can be mean. You know what I mean? Like, what are you doing with your children that it's just like, they're mean to me today? What does that mean? Anyway, I just thought that was sadly interesting.
Yeah.
Do with that what you will, I suppose.
Yeah, too bad for them.
Side note: these news pages that are in Florida, you just keep scrolling down, and it's
all Florida, man. This Florida man,
alligators and
it was nice to see. It was Florida woman this time.
Right.
Mm-hmm. White still though.
Oh, true. A little diversity though. A little. All right, what do you got? What do you got for me here, Michael?
It's not that we didn't know this stuff was happening.
Oh, we knew. We knew. I guarantee we knew.
This is actually from today. This is news that came out today that the Department of Justice had subpoenaed Apple to get the phone and text records of people in Congress, including high-ranking members of both the House and Senate, so they could figure out who was leaking information. Nowhere. There's no law for that.
Sure.
That's just like speculative Minority Report kind of stuff. But this is kind of what Snowden is talking about. But this was interesting to me because this was how broken are things where we have rules. We definitely have rules. You cannot do this.
Right.
And yet they do, and it happens all the time. Why do we have rules at all? Because, that you just get somebody that said, well, this is how I see the rules, and I'm enforcing them. So I'm going to, get all the private records that typically you need a judge's court order for. And it's even hard to get it then. Like, to get even like your spouse's call list is not easy. But not this. We just use these facilities that Snowden told us about.
Yeah.
And we just steal information so we can get dirt on people. I mean, this is the third part of this thing where the Department of Justice had taken private and business emails from a reporter because she was announcing things that were going on in there, and they wanted to find out who was leaking. Turns out everyone was leaking. It was not one person, it seems like. But then they put a gag order on that person and her lawyer. So her lawyer and her could not talk about this thing that she was in trouble for or had her information taken for. She could not know what information they got from her emails. And it's a little disheartening to say, like, well, there is literally nothing anyone could do to stop if the wrong person in government wanted to get it.
Yeah. That is
Justice.
that's you're right. That is not cool. It's not, like you're saying, it's not like super surprising because we've known for, I guess today is like the 8 years since Snowden. Like since like the first like Glenn Greenwald article or whatever about Snowden. So it's not something that we were unaware of happening, but
or at least the capabilities were there to do it. But this somewhat they went through Apple, and Apple was like, cool. So now you have to have issues with Apple saying, like, if just any reason.
But we knew we knew there was a couple of years ago that we knew Apple was giving like the FBI a backdoor.
Yeah, and they kept saying, "Oh, but we I think it was 2 years ago." And they said, "Okay, we ended that. We respect your privacy."
Yeah, but like
they had their fingers crossed.
Yeah,
say, definitely.
Who believed them? Not me.
But even if you're Apple, at a certain point, you know this is like well beyond the realm of what the DOJ can actually do. I mean, you still don't stand up to it?
Yeah.
I mean, that's literally giving them carte blanche over whatever they want to do. So
I'm curious to see if this causes the representative side of the government to attempt to roll back things like the Patriot Act. I forget what Obama called it when they expanded it, but like we've been steadily expanding the deep state and the Justice Department's ability to monitor U.S. citizens, and like now we have this, like, the people in power who presumably thought themselves somewhat above or around being monitored in this way, for better or worse. And so if now they're forced to look at government meddling and monitoring of their privacy, like if that actually leads to them trying to push for some kind of change.
Yeah. I don't have any faith that it will.
No, not at all. To some extent, we talked about this a little bit, but like, it feels like it's all too far gone already. Like, just the world we live in is so based in technology, and then also based in the monitoring of said technology. Like, like we were talking about. Like, I downloaded an app recently that is absolutely tracking my data in terms of like my location data, at least when I have it open. That's its claim, is it's only doing it when I have it open. But the whole point of it is just to save some money on gas.
Yeah.
Like, and I'm willing. I'm like, yeah, you can have my location data if you're gonna give me some money back on gas. Fine, whatever. I don't care, but I
You're
should.
selling yourself for profit.
Yeah, I'm actively today. I went and sold my body to a international corporation, because presumably I'm saving lives in some fashion, and they're paying pretty well. Like, so I don't have a ton of like thoughts about that, but like it does go farther. Like if you start to think about like, okay, my phone is always listening to me. Because I get annoyed when there's on the phone I have the version of Android or whatever has Alexa built into it, and you can't shut it off. And sometimes Alexa just decides that she's trying to be helpful, and it's like, no, I didn't touch you. I've never turned you on. I've tried so many times to get you to shut up and leave me alone forever, but like the Google say, okay Google, and boom, you're in. Like, yo Google, you're in,
So Google and Alexa are different things.
That's what I'm saying.
No, just kidding. You have Alexa on your phone?
Yeah, it's really annoying.
I don't have Alexa on mine.
It's its own separate app, but it's like built into my the software, and it's one of the like undeletable things. And it's
I
like
just have the
it's
Google
not,
Assistant that pops up.
No, it's not fully set up. It's Alexa. It calls itself Alexa. It's a different thing. It's not fully set up because I never gave it any information, because I was like, I'll never use you. Leave me alone forever. And sometimes I'll pick up my phone and it's open. And like the app is opened itself and it's just waiting for an input.
Do you want me to stop that from happening?
Yeah, maybe.
I can get rid of that for you.
Anyway, so all that to say, I don't think that we should be comfortable with corporations and governments just monitoring all of our activity, but I also don't see a world in which we get away from that until we go full Ted Krasinski and go off the grid. Not the bombing part.
I was gonna say maybe we walk that one back just a little bit. Yeah, sometimes I look up at my webcam and I just smile for the government, just to so they know I'm still friendly with them.
Have I told you about Crazy Lady?
Which one? Yeah, at the theater.
She was a regular at the movie theater.
Yeah,
and I was having a conversation with her one time, and she displayed signs of what I would call things in need of some help, some mental issues that possibly, some. I'm not a doctor. I'm not licensed, but some identity disorders, maybe, conversations with yourself kind of stuff. And she told me one time that she knew that she came across as crazy to people. This somehow this made her sound crazier. But she said like she knew that she presented as crazy to people. And she played on that because you never knew when the government might be listening to you. And so she wanted to throw them off the trail occasionally by saying things that were crazy. So she was like,
maybe she's got it all together. Maybe she's the one and we're all crazy.
She was also telling me that she'd done like naval intelligence when she was younger. So like it's
like
not
belly button intelligence.
Yes, that probably, but like for the Navy.
Okay.
Yeah, so it's not outside the realm of possibility that like she wasn't crazy at all, other than the fact that she was intentionally acting crazy so that she would seem crazy.
Yeah.
So that the government wouldn't know when she was being honest with her opinions and such, which is its own form of crazy in my mind.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Anyway, I don't know if you guys saw this, but there was a rumor going around that Mazepin was gonna have to pull out of the F1 potentially, do his military service for the Russian military, because Russia has a like required 1 year of service of all their citizens. However, he's clarified those rumors about completing his military service and said that he is already doing what he needs to do. So this is interesting. It reads funny, but we have to recognize that he's this is English is not his first language. So the rumor started because something his father had said about basically saying like, I don't know how my son is gonna take care of his military service that he has to do, or something along those lines. And everybody was like, wait, he hasn't done that. But Mazepin said, from my side, the situation is very clear. I study in university, and the way it works in Russia, there's a mandatory military service. There are 2 ways of serving if you're fit enough. Option 1 is finishing university and then going for a year. Option 2 is if you qualify, being fit enough in terms of your fitness results and in terms of your studying results, you can go on to something called like the elite army, which is served in a completely different way, which sounds awesome. I want to be part of the elite army. It's 1 day a week, and you're learning to be a reserve officer, and it takes 3 years, but only 1 day a week. It's basically done in a class. This is what I'm doing for 2 years already, and I'm obviously going to continue doing it for 1 more year to hopefully graduate as a reserve officer. Obviously, it takes 3 years to do. He's been doing it for 2 years, doing it for 1 more year. 5 days ago, I passed my final exam in university for finishing my first 4 years. I'm moving on to get a second master's degree later in the coming 2 years. So this was the other thing that stuck out to me. We've talked before, and we know that like F1 drivers are very like they're highly indulgent. They have to be. They're driving a spaceship on wheels. But yeah, he's as a Formula driver, he was in GP3 and Formula 2 in the last few years, and now first year in Formula 1. And he's been working this whole time on a master's degree, and he's gonna go for a second one.
And isn't he like 21 or 22 or something like that? Like stupid young?
I don't know exactly how old, but he's pretty young. I
bet we could find out.
Yeah. I'm sure that information is out there somewhere.
He is 22, March 2nd, 9.
How much of that degree is the the Lori Loughlin treatment?
The Russian version?
I don't know. That's an interesting question. I don't know if Russian universities are the same way that American universities are in terms of like
corruption.
Yeah.
Corruption and or giving away degrees to people that they think are famous enough to give them clout to get more people to pay them money. Get degrees. But yeah, I just I thought it was interesting.
I think it's interesting. Most military branches around the world, they dedicate their life to becoming an elite army, but Russia, you just one class a week and you're elite.
I went ahead
because they're born so amazing. Like you just need a couple books.
So I chalked that one up to English as a second language, and elite, not necessarily, because then he clarifies that it's a reserve situation, and I was like, I doubt that elite and reserve actually mean the same thing in Russia.
I am the electricity monster, here to take away your power.
Don't worry. So Josh said, if we don't want to be heard right now, don't, because he's going to turn the stream on, but they can't hear you just yet. Like they can't, like in just a second.
No one can hear us right now.
No one can hear us now.
Okay.
But
as long as no one can hear us right now, that's good.
Pretty soon they will be able to.
Oh, gotcha.
They can't, right, Josh? They can't hear us yet. Josh isn't answering. He doesn't like us.
I need more control of this podcast.
When did you have control?
That's why I said I need more.
Okay.
I mean, I had control when I said, Michael, do you want to do a podcast?
That's fair.
Okay, yeah, that's fair.